and then I'm going to go live. So we are now recording, and I'm going to share my screen and we will get started here. Okay. The first thing you need to do when you are wanting to create a Google form is you have to have a Google account. Okay. Now, if somebody sends you a link to fill out a Google form, you don't have to have a Google account to fill out a Google form. But in order to create one, you do. And you don't have to have Gmail in order to create a Google account. What you need to do is you need to go into whatever search engine you use. I'm going to use Chrome here. And if you look at step 1 on your note-taking guide, it says to create your Google account. So all I need to do is type in create Google account. Okay, create Google account.
Oh no, what happened?
Uh-oh. Oh, I need you all to mute your microphones if you would, please, just to cut out that background noise. Thank you, appreciate that. Okay, so once you type in create Google account in whatever your search bar is, the first one that comes up is probably going to be the one. If it says an ad here, AD, don't click on anything with an ad. Go right to the source. So create Google account. And you're going to be taken to this page. It's very simple. You're going to create an account for yourself. The steps are right here. If you have an email that's, for instance, yahoo.com or comcast.net or something like that, you can use your existing email address to create a Google account. So you, as I said, you don't have to sign up for Gmail to create a Google account. Okay, but you would just follow these steps right here. I'm not going to take you through it. I already have a Google account, so it's not going to let me sign up again. But follow these directions, create your Google account, and then you should be ready to go. Okay, so that is the first step that you need to take, and that is our step number 1 on our note-taking guide. So step number 2 on the note-taking guide says access Google Forms. Now there are actually 3 ways. I think I have on the form that there are 2 ways. So once you have a Google account and you are logged on to any kind of a Google product, whether it's Gmail or Google Chrome or anything like that, in the upper right-hand corner, and I'm going to enlarge my screen a little bit so you can see it. Look in the upper right-hand corner of my screen here, and you're going to see a circle. This is my account. You might not have a picture there if you haven't added a picture to your account. It might have a letter of your name's initials. Okay. Next to that, you're going to see this grid of 9 different 9 dots. I call it the waffle. Okay. So this is the Google Apps menu here. And that's one of the ways that you're going to get to your Google Forms. So I have to make this back a little smaller here. And I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click on the waffle. So if you look at step number 2, it has the waffle first, and then you'll see the triangle. These are all Google Apps in this menu. Okay, and this is only some of them. They're like, there were like 300 Google Apps. I have no idea. You could click on more from Google. If you don't see this drive right here, it probably is going to show up immediately. So click on the Google Apps waffle, then you're going to go right down to Drive. This is just one way to get to your Google Forms. This opens up what we call your Google Drive. Your Google Drive is a cloud storage, and anything that you create using Google is going to be in this drive. So I've got documents, I have folders that I've created. Okay, so this is your drive. I'm going to go over here to the left where it says new, and there's a plus. Okay, there's a plus sign. I'm going to click on new. And I can go down right here to where it says Google Forms. So I could access docs, sheets, slides, or forms here, or even more. Okay. I'm not going to click on it because I want to show you the other two ways. So that's one way to get to Google Forms. And that's the one that's listed on step number 2. Okay. The second way of doing this is, again, to go to your waffle over here, click on your waffle, and the Google Forms icon should be listed somewhere here. You might have to scroll down and find it. These are movable. You can drag these around by just holding your cursor down. You can move them. I moved. That's not what I wanted to do. I have all of the apps that I use a lot. They're right up here at the top, so I can access them easily. Google Forms, the purple form is the one that you're looking for. You could click on that and it would take you right to Google Forms. Now there's a third way, and it's very, very easy. I just found this out about a week or so ago. So you just go up here to the address bar at the top, or any kind of a search, and you can type in form.new, form.new. And it takes you right to Google Forms. It's probably the easiest way to find it, form.new. So make sure you write that one down. This is the home page for Google Forms. So this is where we're going to start with step number 3.
Where do you type that in the menu bar, or?
Oh, you can go up here to up at the top in the address bar up there. You could go to here. You could go form.new in a search bar. It's still going to take you there.
Okay.
Okie doke.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm on my untitled form. So we're on step number 3 now. Step number 3. So this is the starting place. This is the home page for Google Forms. The home page for Google Forms. It's always purple in color, and you will see the Google Form icon in the upper left-hand corner that tells you that you are on the Google Form page. So now the first thing that you are going to do, and for the purpose of this training, I am going to create an event for a volunteer who would like to participate in a fundraising event for a division. Okay, so you might have a fundraising event and you want people to sign up to be volunteers at this fundraising event. So that's what I'm going to do. First thing you do is click on where it says untitled form right here. And you can just press your backspace key to delete what's already there. Okay, I'm going to give this a title. It's going to be the May 3rd, oops, I told you my fingers are cold, event volunteer form. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is give it a title, whatever your title. Don't make it too long, but give it a title. Second thing is, if you look at the bullets on your note-taking guide, the second bullet says untitled form in the upper left. That's this up here. It's right by the blue form icon. Notice it says untitled form up here as well. But if I click on it, whatever I type here automatically appears up here. So all you have to do is click up on the upper left where it says untitled form at the beginning. This is the title that will appear. So you don't forget to do this step, okay? Because if you leave it as untitled form, when this is saved in your Google Drive, which is where it's going to be saved, it will say untitled form. So you have to type it in here and then go up here and click to make sure it populates with the same title. Okay, so now I have my two titles here. And by the way, notice right here, all changes saved in Drive. This is the luxury of Google. It saves automatically. You know, when you're working on a Word document, you have to go up to File, Save, or File, Save As. You have to save it all the time. Otherwise, if you accidentally delete it, it's gone and you can't really recover it. This is always saved on your own. You can always go into your Drive and find it. That's a nice luxury there. Okay, third step is this form description right here. Okay, the form description can be a number of different things. It can provide some information about the event that this form is tied to. It can provide instructions on how to fill out this form. It might have the date of the event, might have the name of the venue, you might include the address. You can put whatever you want in this form description right here, because it will continue to expand and give you as much room as you need to type whatever instructions you need. So I'm going to click on form description and I'm going to type, please complete the information below to sign up to volunteer at our May fundraiser. Thank you. Okay, I can type as much as I want here. Okay, so now this is step 3. I have my title here. I have my title here. I have my instructions here to the people who are filling it out. And all the changes are saved in the Drive, which is exactly what I want. Okay, so that's step number 3. Step number 4, I want to show you some icons up here in the upper right-hand corner. You're going to see 4 icons, okay, in the upper right-hand corner. The first one looks like a painter's palette. When you hover over that with your cursor, notice it says customize theme. And I'm going to go into more detail on that in just once we get to the second page of notes, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. So when I click on customize theme, you're going to get a menu that opens up and you have 4 different options to play with as far as customizing the theme. You can add a header, which is an image that would go above the title of your form. Could be a picture. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. So you can add a header. You don't have to, but you can. You can choose your theme color. As I said, purple and lavender is the default. I can make it orange. I can make it turquoise gray or whatever, blue, whatever color I want. Okay. You can even add additional colors by clicking on this plus sign down here. You can add colors if you don't like any of these here. I can alter the background color. Right now it's kind of a light lavender. If I want something darker, I just click on that. If I want it to be kind of a light gray, I can do that. So these are the options. And if whatever color's down here on the background color is going to coordinate with the theme color that you pick. So if I have blue here, I'm going to, oh, it's actually giving me purple. Normally it would change to blue. So I don't know what happened there. Okay, this one's a little more blue. Okay, so they coordinate. The last one is font style. And you have 4 choices of fonts. Right now it is listed as basic. And so you're looking at a basic font. The decorative is kind of nice if you're doing some kind of a formal invitation. The next one is formal, but it's more like a Times New Roman font, but a little fancier. And the 4th one is playful. So if you're sending out an invitation for kids, you know, you might want to use that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and keep it as basic. I think that basic is probably the easiest one for people to read. Now, I want you to know too, I'm going to click out of this. And because I haven't edited anything, I'm not going to show you what that little pencil icon is yet because I'm not there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop there. And Marilyn, let's go ahead and take some questions.
Tim,
Make sure you unmute yourself.
I'm sorry. So when you mentioned that all of your documents are in the cloud drive,
Yes,
now when they're in the cloud drive, are they also on your computer, or do you have to download them to your laptop if you
No.
want to do that, or how does
You
that?
you access them on your computer. So if I go up here to my waffle, everything's here. Everything's here, including the one I'm working on right here.
So it's on your laptop and also in the cloud.
yeah,
You could, yeah, it's in the cloud. So if you switch to a different device, you can access it from a different device. You can access it from your phone. You can go to somebody's house and borrow their computer, log into your account and access it, as long as you log into Google.
Well, say for example, if you, for some reason, you no longer were using Google Drive, then would all of those documents disappear, or would they be on your
No,
laptop?
They're still there. Your account still exists. So if you wanted to create, log into your account some other time again, you could access it. They're not going to go away.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Lola,
Unmute.
I lost my mute button. I'm sorry.
You're there.
I chipped in a little late and I got a little confused early in the game. When you gave it a name,
Yeah.
May 30 event volunteer form, when you gave it the name up here, did it also automatically go down here, or you had to type it in twice?
You have to type it in here first. Okay.
Oh, first, okay.
Now you're going to want to do it here first, and then you go up. That's why on the note-taking guide, I had this one to be completed first. Okay. Then all you have to do is go up here and you click, because it would say untitled form. All right.
Yes,
And then all you have to do is click here and the title will appear up there.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any others?
Susan? Unmute.
Sorry, I have a question about how to move that image into the top. Marilyn always had beautiful images
I'm going to
above.
show you. I'm going to show it to you.
That's coming.
That's
Oh.
coming on
Yeah.
the next page, top of the next page.
Okay,
Okay. Any others, Marilyn?
That's it.
Okey doke. I'm going to move on to the next page. We are on step number 5. Step number 5 on your note-taking guide, customize themes. So Susan was getting a jump on me there, but we'll do that. So now, so I have my title here in my places. I've got my description down here. I want to fancy this up just a tad. It's a little bit bland the way it is. And so I want to customize my theme. I'm going to go up to my painter's palette up here, the icon, and I'm going to click on that to open the menu as I showed you before. Now, I want to create that header. Okay, that's the image that's at the top. So I'm going to click on choose image right here. And it opens up a menu in the middle of my screen. I have 3 options. I can use the themes that Google provides for me in these categories. These are just kind of general, well, it says work and school. I don't know how jelly beans are work and school, but whatever. So you can pick from any of these themes. So if you're doing something for a birthday or for a party or for a luncheon, you can click those themes. You can upload a photo from your computer, okay? Or if you click photos, it will access your Google Photos, okay? Just so you know, the photos here are Google Photos. The upload, you can access any other photos that you might have on your computer. So I am going to click photos first. I'm going to go to my Google photos. And I've got lots of stuff from a luncheon, yada, yada. I'm gonna scroll. I don't want grandbabies on my header. Keep going. And I want to use this image of our Mount San Jacinto, because that's the image for our division. So I'm gonna click on that. And I don't know if you saw, but down here in the lower right, this little menu right here that says insert. So I click on the picture, then I need to click on insert. Now notice that the image is square, but this box right here, and I can move this box and set it wherever I want. Whatever appears in the box is what's going to appear in the header. So I move that box. I want to make sure I have my CalRTA logo and the mountain. Now I'm going to click done. So I've moved it around and click done. And there we go. It appears. Now, notice the colors here. I don't particularly like the yellow. I'm going to go to change my theme color to blue to better match my theme here. I'm going to make the background a little bit different. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. But say, well, you know, I don't think I want to use the mountains. I want to go up here to the icons up here. First of all, let me do a preview. If I click this icon up here, this eyeball, I can take a look at what it looks like. This would be what it would look like for anybody who is filling out the form. This is what they're going to see. And by the way, this information right here, they don't see that. Okay, but okay, this looks okay, but I think I'm going to change it. So down here in the lower right-hand corner, and actually I'm kind of hearkening back to step number 4. So I'm sorry, I kind of got ahead of myself. This is the editing form button. I'm going to go down here where the pencil is. I'm going to click on that to go back to edit. So I've previewed it. I want to undo what I've done. So I'm going to undo it by clicking the back arrow, I'm going to undo it. And why is it not doing that? It should have. Okay, I'm not sure why it's not. Let me go into themes and see if it will undo my theme. Okay, it's not going to do that. I want to change my theme. So I'm going to go in and choose a different image. So this time I want to use one of their themes. Okay, so maybe I'm just going to choose something generic, kind of like this one right here. So I click on this theme and I can insert it. Okay, that's kind of cool, but it doesn't really look like, it looks more technology. Oh, I guess that's a spider. I don't want a spider. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to change this again. Let me see if I can undo that one. Oh, I can. Now my undo worked. So now I'm going to try one more option to upload an image up there. I'm going to go to upload. I'm going to get something from my computer. So notice down here, I can browse. I could drag something and drop it right here, but I'm going to browse on my computer. And let me see. I'm going to go over here to my menu, and I'm going to get something from my CalRTA file. And let's see here. Here are my logos. And here's I'm just going to use a CalRTA logo. So I'm going to click on my logo and go down here to open. Click on the logo, go down to open. It's going to appear, but look how big that logo is. I can't get it all in. So I'm just going to get the CalRTA in. So I just drag my little window here, just drag it around till I position it where I want it and go to done. Okay. I think I have it the way I want it. I am gonna change my theme color. And I'm gonna change my background to make it a little darker. Okay. I've got-
Sue,
Yep.
what's the difference between upload and photos? What, I see where your upload's coming from your computer, but
Okay.
photos, what?
The photos are if you have the Google Photos app and when you take pictures, you're storing them in Google Photos, that's the
Okay.
photos.
Oh,
Up-
okay,
Upload can be any photos that you have
yeah,
that aren't necessarily stored in Google Photos. Okay,
got it.
all righty. So that's step number 5. I'm gonna go up to preview. That's the eyeball. Let me see what it looks like. Oh, I like that. Nice, crisp, clean, looks really good. Gonna go back down to my little editing pencil down here in the lower right. I need to go back to editing. Don't forget to go back to editing, okay? All right, step number 6. Now it's time to start adding the information that I want on my form. I'm gonna go down here to, well, first of all, it says untitled question. I'm not gonna be asking questions, but you have to understand that Google Forms were created predominantly for teachers to create tests and quizzes. So it's kind of organized around that kind of a theme. But let's take a look at the different kinds of items that you can have here. So the default is always multiple choice. So if you're gonna have your people choose from a number of different items, then you would keep it at multiple choice. That's always the default. When I click this down arrow next to multiple choice, this one right here, I have a menu now. So this is going to determine the kind of answer that I'm looking for from the people who are filling out the form. Do I want them to provide me with a short answer? You would use a short answer for having them put their name in, their email address, maybe even a phone number. That would be considered a short answer. Something that's no more than maybe a sentence or two. Short answer. Your second option is a paragraph. If you want them to write something that's lengthy, and it can be actually quite lengthy, 32,000 characters, not letters, but characters. So it can be very long. So you can choose a paragraph if you want them to write a paragraph response. Multiple choice means you're going to give them choices, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they can pick one. So multiple choice requires one answer only, or one choice only. The check boxes, they can check multiple items. So if you say, which of the following positions in CalRTA do you are you a part of? Which do you hold? They might check 7 different positions. Okay, so the check boxes are multiple items. The drop down is kind of a fancy multiple choice. On the form, it will just say drop down. Okay, and you're going to click a little arrow, and I'm going to show you because we're going to have one of those items. And your choices will be in a drop down menu, but they still will only pick one. Pick one. So multiple choice, multiple items, check boxes. One single item, use multiple choice or the drop down. Okay, I'm not going to cover all of these down here. That's for a future training. I'm going to stick with the basics right here, which would be these 5 up at the top, short answer down to drop down. So that's item number 6. Okay, your different options for your category choices. So let's get to number 7. That's this untitled question. Untitled question. That's where my first item is going to be. And on any kind of a form like this, the first item is typically first name. I have people fill out a form with the first name as a single category and last name as a single category. That way, if I want to take all of the people who have responded, and if I want to alphabetize by their last name, I can do it that way. Okay, so I suggest that you keep first name and last name in a separate category. So this is a category, this box right here. So first name is the first category. And notice that it used to say multiple choice here on my items. It automatically changed to short answer. Google anticipates the kind of response you're asking for, which is kind of neat. So I'm going to keep it as short answer because they're going to type their name in. And down here, I am going to make this a required response by clicking on just to the right of that little button. Okay, I'm going to turn it blue, turn the button blue. That means that people cannot move on to the next item until they can't submit the form until they have completed all required items. And I will show you, it will show a little star by the item. I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so that is the untitled question. Item number 8 is referring to these icons down here. I can duplicate this question to save myself some time because my next item is going to be what? It's going to be last name. So I can duplicate this box and then just change the new item to last name. If I want to trash this item, I can click on the trash can and that's going to toss it out and I can start over. Okay. The required button is important. I just showed you that. And then you have a little menu here. You can actually write a description, special instructions. I don't think you really need to have a description for a first name. People understand that. I am not going to discuss response validation. That gets to be a little advanced. Again, that'll be for a different training. Okay, so now I am going to actually duplicate this box. Okay. And all I need to do is backspace here to type in last, to make it last name. Okay, I'm going to pause there. Marilyn, may I have any questions?
I don't see any hands raised.
Any hands, guys? We good?
Well, I guess we're good.
All right. We are now on step number 9. Step number 9. Okay. First thing I want to do is I'm going to go up and check my work by doing a preview. Okay, got my header, my title, my description. Remember, they don't see this. Just so you know, they don't see this. Nobody's going to see this except for you or whoever's creating the form. Here's my first name and here's last name. Okay, now I'm good to go. I want to add some more details. I'm going to go down to my pencil icon down in the lower right hand corner because I have to go back to my editing. Okay, I'm back in editing mode. Let's go to item number 10. Toolbar, I'm going to add a question. I'm going to add a new item. See this toolbar over here on the right? The only item I'm going to focus on today is the plus. This is where you're going to add your question. So I'm going to add a question. Okay, but look at where it placed the box. I have first name up here and my last name is down here. I need the first name and the last name to be back to back. If I need to, look at item 11 on your note taking. This is how you move a text box or a question box. See these little dots that you see here? They disappear, like on this form, it disappears until I hover over the box. When you see those arrows, the 4 arrows, if you just hold down your cursor, you can move the box anywhere you want. Okay, so I'm going to actually move this box down to the bottom by grabbing this where those dots are, and I'm going to drag it up and drop it right there. So now I have my first name and my last name back to back. And then I have my new question right down here. So that's how you move a box, and you can move them at any time, drag them, drop them, okay, to rearrange them. So item number 12, add question, short answer. Okay, I want to add now their email address. I need to know their email address. And I'm going to keep it as a short answer. It'll require a short answer. I do want to make it required down here. I'm going to click there, make sure my button is blue. By the way, do you see the stars up here? Whoops. Sorry. See the red star? That means it's a required item. Required item. Okay. So you want to make sure you have a red star showing. So I have 3 categories. Step number 13, I'm going to add another question. So I'm going to go to the plus, add another question. I want to move this down. Actually, let's try to move this one up. Okay. So now I'm down here on my new question. This time I'm going to, there are 3 different time slots that these volunteers can sign up for. They can choose all 3, or they can choose 1 or 2. So I'm going to use check boxes because they can check multiple boxes here. So let me type in my question, which is going to say times available to work. Okay. I'm going to change this to check boxes. Notice I have a box over here, and my option 1, if I click on that, it turns blue, and I'm going to type in the time. So 9 to 11. Then I'm going to press enter. Notice it turns option 2 blue. I'm going to type in 11 o'clock till 1 o'clock. I'm going to press enter. Option 3 is 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Okay. I'm done with that. I don't need to add anything else down here. I'm not going to put other because these are the only options. And it's a checkbox, so they can choose all 3, 1 or 2. Doesn't make any difference. Okay, I'm going to make it required. I want to know what time period they're signing up for. Okay, step number 15. I'm going to add a new question. Now, at the venue where this fundraising event is taking place, there are different places that need to be manned by the volunteers. So I'm going to type in here, select 1 volunteer spot. Okay. I'm going to make it multiple choice because I want them, actually, I'm going to make this a drop down box because they're still only going to be able to pick 1 item. So if it was multiple items, they can't be multiple places at one time. That would have been check boxes, but I'm picking 1. So they can choose the entrance to the venue, press enter. They can be at the check-in table. That's their second option. They can be at the pool area. That's cool. That's where I would be. And they can be at the rec center, or excuse me, the rec room. All right. They're going to select 1. I'm going to make this required. Okay. Let me preview. And now you can see what these look like to the people filling out the form. So we've got first name, short answer, last name, the short answer, the email address, short answer. Notice this. They could pick 1, 2, 3 if they wanted to. They could pick 2, 1. So you can test out your stuff. Notice that it says this is a required question. Select 1. Here's your drop-down box. Drop it down. They can pick 1, the entrance, the check-in table, the pool area, or the rec room. I am going, just so these red things don't show, I'm gonna go down here where it says clear form to clear it up. Okay. And now I'm gonna go back to editing. I'm gonna click the pencil to go back to editing. And any questions?
One, I'm not sure of the first name, but the last name is Mendez.
Yeah, if you want to add for the check boxes, if you want to add the directions about, you can choose 1 or 2 or all 3 for the times available to work. Do you just add it to the question box?
Yes, let me show you. That's where you would go down here to the 3 dots. Right here. And you would click description. Okay. So you could type in instruction here. Okay. So you could add that there if you want, or you could add it up here for the check boxes. Okay, either place. Does that answer your question?
Yes, he must have.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, any others?
Mike Harris.
I was on the multiple choice, and what I was doing was putting in a virtual live meeting. Are you going to attend? Yes, no. And then I wanted the other to say live, because then I could, find out. Can I change the name on other?
So let me go down here. So in multiple choice,
Okay, I took their suggestions of yes and no.
yeah, you can, if you click other, it's going to actually say other.
Yes.
You can't change that.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you want to get rid of one of your selections, you just click this X over here,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yep.
Okay.
Now I noticed you just selected that. That's not editable. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's as good as we're going to get, I guess,
I-
on that one.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
where it says add option or add other, couldn't he type in live?
Yeah. If you click on other, it's going to put other.
But where it says
Otherwise, you
add
just
option,
Otherwise, you just make live another option.
okay,
Okay. Are we good?
I think so.
No more? Okay.
He says he's good.
Step 16. Step 16. All right. I'm actually going to delete this question by just clicking the trash can here. Okay. And keep my others here. I've already done my preview, so I know that I'm ready to go. I've got all the questions that I want, all the questions that I need. So step 16. Let's take a look first at the menu in the upper right-hand corner, right next to that purple send button. Here are some options that I have. I can make a copy of this particular form. It will automatically be saved in my drive. Why would I want to make a copy? Because I might have another event down the road a little bit that I can use the same kind of form and just maybe edit it a little bit. So sometimes it's nice to make a copy. I can trash the whole form if I want to. And I'm not going to cover pre-filled links. Again, that's for a future training. You can print this form that you see, you can print it. Okay. And add collaborators. That means if I wanted to add somebody else and give them access to this form and editing rights to the form, I can add them in as a collaborator. So for instance, if I wanted Marilyn to be a collaborator with me, now when I open this, people that I tend to, exchange emails with or share these documents with show up. So I could just click on Marilyn's image right here, or I could type in her email. Okay, so you can add as many collaborators as you want. You can write a notice, a message to them. Marilyn, blah, 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 blah. Here's this form. Tell me what you think, yada, yada. Once I do that, I just go down here and I can send this to her. She's going to get an email letting her know that I have added her as a collaborator to edit the document. So you can add collaborators. That's up here in this menu. I'm not going to get to these other things. Okay, there's just a lot to cover in this. So that is step number 16. Step number 17, I just showed you how to add a collaborator. So you can do it here. This is one place, and you can also do it from the send button. So let's go ahead and go down to step 18. I'm ready to send my form. Okay, and I have some options here. And I click send. Menu opens up. I can send it via email, which means I can type emails in here, or I can copy and paste emails in here. Okay, and scroll down and I can send it to people that way. You can type in a message down here where it says message. You can change this by just deleting what's there. You can type in a message to them. Please make sure that you return this form no later than May 2nd. Okay. I can click this box that says include form in email, which means that when they click on their email, they're going to actually see the form is going to open up. Okay. If you don't click this, it's going to give them a link or a message to click on something to fill out the form. Notice I can add collaborators down here. So that's the second place to add a collaborator. So the second way to send a form is via link. That's the middle one. This is the link. This is the way I typically send forms to fill out. When I sent the registration form out for you to register, I put a link in my email to you. Notice how long this link is though. Holy moly. I can shorten this by clicking the shorten URL box. Notice how short it makes it right there. Okay. Once I have my link, I copy it right here. Okay. Click copy. It's on my invisible clipboard. I'm now going to go to my emails. I'm going to compose a new email I'm going to send it to Marilyn. Okay, there's Marilyn. I'm going to put registration. Okay, and I'm going to paste the link. I can either do Control V, and to copy, I could have done Control C or Command C. Okay, to paste, I use my mouse, so I'm just going to paste it here, or Control or Command V. Okay, the link is going to be in there. It will turn blue once I send it. Okay, and then I just send the email. Okay, so I could do it that way. So that's the link. This is the embed. I personally have never embedded a Google form in anything, but you can embed it onto a website. If you know how to do that, you can embed it into a PowerPoint slide. Okay. I don't typically do that, but if it's something that you want to do, you can try that out by embedding it. And basically you just copy that link, and then you need to know how to embed it. Okay. So these are the three. Typically it's the link that's used the most, but don't forget to shorten that URL. Okay. Marilyn, any questions?
I don't see any.
Okay. Okay, last call on questions, because I'm going to click out of all of these and I'm going to show you what happens when people fill out the form. Okay, so I'm going to go in here to my Google Drive. So I'm on step 19. This is the Google Sheet. Oh, Mary Elliott Clem, she raised her hand. Go ahead,
Yes,
Mary.
right.
Thank you. I have a question about the email. When I send out a form, then I need, if I understood you correctly, I need to copy each email address onto that particular form. There's no place where they're stored or
Oh, if you
like
want,
when I do with my newsletter, there's a section for contacts and they're all in there. So then I just push send. But here I have to copy each email into this. Is that correct?
if you want to send it using this email right here. Yeah,
Right.
what you could do is you could
My-
copy from your contacts. If you've got contacts in your, email, if you've got a contact list, you can copy those and just paste them in. You don't have to do them one by one. Or if you have a spreadsheet with names, like the names of people in your division, you can copy, and I'm going to show you that in a minute, how to do that. So you can copy them all at once and paste them in there. Is that answering your
Okay.
question?
Kind of. If
Okay,
I mean,
show-
we have say there's 250 names,
Right.
and then I have to copy
To a
each
screen.
one. That
Well, You
seems
can do it from
it's
a,
got to be an easier way.
I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. Okay,
Okay.
2 other hands up.
Mike?
Yeah, I asked Marilyn, does Google have limitations on how many emails you can send out on one time?
Well,
Um,
they used to, but I have found that I can send 200 and something all at once
Oh, my gosh.
these days.
okay,
It used to be limited. I used to have to divide them up into groups of about 80.
yeah,
Now it's, and I have no idea what changed. I have no idea, but I mean, thank God, because, it was rather tedious. So now, I mean, I can copy, when I send out stuff for CTC, I send it through my Gmail. And so, yeah,
mhm.
you can send it
Well,
out.
yeah, again, I know it was a limitation in the past, and what happens is if you go over a certain number, they get tagged as spam, so that the recipients never see it in their regular inbox. That's why I use MailChimp. There are some times that your email program, because it's coming from a mass mailer, will tag it as spam anyway.
Yeah,
So you're kind of in catch 22. Do I do 80 and hope it gets through to everybody? Or do I say, the heck with it, use MailChimp to 400 and hope it gets through where it needs to?
well, just a word about MailChimp. I read recently, and you probably are up on this too, Mike, that that spammers are using MailChimp now because MailChimp
course.
doesn't say where it's coming from. So they're messing with that now too. And I just saw that in a write-up on a tech website. So I don't know. Yeah, it's like, you're right. It is a catch-22. So far, I haven't had anybody come back and say, hey, I didn't receive your update newsletter. And I sent it out to, 100, 200 people or whatever. So,
Sue?
Yeah.
Hey, Sue, I have a experience with sending out 1,000 emails to active teachers. And I try to keep it to about 100 or so.
Yeah.
Each email. What restricts me is the amount of emails. So I have no problem sending out up to 800, 900. And then when I get to a certain point, and I don't know what the number is, but it's less than 1,000, then Google comes and tells me I've exceeded the amount of emails I can send today, and I have to wait till the next day to send the last 200.
oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I've had no problem with the amount.
Okay.
I don't go big time, but I stick around about 100 emails in on a letter, so I have to redo that, 10 times. But when I
Right.
get down to eight or nine, then it comes back with a message to me that you've exceeded, and I have to figure out what was the last one I wasn't able to send, and then send it the next day.
Okay, yeah. I've never really sent out that many, so I haven't yet received that kind of a notice, but that's good to know. Thanks, Mark.
Uh-huh.
Okay, any
No.
other hands up?
Lola?
My question is very simple. Since I'm not a state officer, the things I would try to practice and send out would go to the division on one part or to the area on the other part. So I'm thinking that I should be okay once I learn how to work this thing.
I think
You
so.
know, that I can send stuff out and there's no problem. Because
Right.
it sounds like it goes straight forward if we just follow the directions.
Yeah, I don't think that you would have a problem at all. Okay,
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
any other questions?
Garrett?
What I do is have another email address and I send me a copy, and if it gets up in spam, I know I've exceeded the limit.
Oh, nice. That, yeah, test it out by adding your own name to the email list where you're sending it and see if you get it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks, Garrett. Okay, any others? Meryl?
No. No.
Okay, let me go in here and show you. Actually, I'm gonna go in. I'm in my drive. I want to go to, I'm gonna show you one that's not what I want. Okay, so I'm gonna go in here to my teacher grant form so you can see what it looks like when you get responses. So I've got 67 responses here. I hope I didn't delete all the responses. Nope, I didn't. Okay, so when you're ready to look at all of the responses, all you do is you open your form, just like this. You go in and just click on the form that you created, and you're going to see a number here. This indicates that 67 people have responded to my form. Okay, so it'll be under responses. Settings over here. I don't typically worry about these settings. I just am interested in the responses. Okay, so one thing you can do, if you scroll down, you can see a summary of your responses for each category that you put on your form. So you can see a summary. So all I can, if I'm interested, I can look at all of the first names, yada, 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 yada. There's all the first names of everybody. I can look at all the last names. If I want to just look at their emails, I can see their emails. If I just want to look at, say, you know, what grades they teach or whatever. These are all the categories that were on the form. So it's a summary of all of your responses, summary. I can look at this form question by question. Okay, so I can look at question 1 of 14 questions that were on the form. The question number 1 is first name. Question number 2 was last name, email address. So if I wanted to just look at the names of the principals, I could do that and look at all the names of the principals. So I can go question by question, or I can go individual by individual. I can look at the responses from each individual who filled out the form. So if I want to look at Rick Olson's responses, I just scroll through, and all of this is his information only. So one person at a time. Okay, so you have those choices: summary, question, and individual. Okay, now a couple things. I'm going to look at summary, but I want to show you what Google does for you. So notice that they will sometimes create bar graphs for you. So if I wanted to see, for instance, which schools had the most people who applied for this teacher grant, I could see these two. I can just hover over this and see, okay, this is San Jacinto High School. This one is Tockwitz High School. Okay, so they'll create bar graphs for you. They create pie charts. I can see which school districts people came from. So I can look at blue, and if I hover over this, it'll tell me the district. and the percentage and the raw number, 14. So 9 people from Marietta, 10 from Menifee, 32 from Hemet. So they'll create pie charts for you as well. Another bar graph. Here are the kind of the short answers. Okay, how are you going to use the money? I can scroll through that. I can even copy these if I want, copy and paste that text. Another pie chart, another pie chart, another pie chart. So they make those pie charts for you in the bar graphs, which is kind of nice as a visual. Okay, going to number 20. Now that I see the responses on the Google form, I'm going to go over here to this green icon. I want to see the spreadsheet. Now, the first time you click on that green icon, if you've never clicked on it before, it's going to ask you, do you want to create a new spreadsheet? You need to click yes. All right. I've already got a spreadsheet for this, so it's not going to ask me, but you need to make sure that you click yes, you want to create a new spreadsheet. Click on that. And this is what it looks like. This is what all the information looks like. Okay, so these are all the categories up here, first name, last name. These were all the categories that were on the Google form. And I can slide this over, and you can see I have a lot of categories here. Okay, so let me show you what you can do with this. Okay, so remember that my form, I was asking for volunteers. Now I want to send all of those people who filled out my form, I want to send them an email thanking them for volunteering. And yes, we look forward to seeing you. So I want to send it to them all. So I'm going to go to their home email address, and I'm going, I want to highlight all of these people, all of their email addresses. So I look for the category home email address, and I click the first person's, and I hold down my cursor to highlight. And I'm just going to go all the way down, and it will automatically move on its own. You have to be careful, it goes really fast. I'm highlighting, and here's the last person on the list. Notice that it's all blue. Okay, I've highlighted all those email addresses. Now I'm going to, on my mouse, I'm going to right click and copy. I can do Control C or Command C. I'm going to copy all those email addresses. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to open an email. I want to compose a new email because I'm going to send it to them. Now I have 67 or 65 email addresses. I don't want to type it in. I don't want to paste them in right next to the 2, because that's going to violate the privacy of all these people. Because if I put it right there, everybody can see everybody else's email address. You don't want to do that. Click the BCC. That's a blind copy. So nobody's going to see anybody else's email. I'm going to paste here. I could do Control or Command V. Here are all the emails posted in. These are the people who signed up. Now you do the rest. You add your subject in, you type your email, and you click send. Okay, so that's one way to use this form. Copy the email, just as I said, you drag until it's blue. Okay, so that is, oh, I guess I didn't get all of the things that I was supposed to in item number 20. So let me go back to my form real quick. Whoops. Okay. I don't think I did this. Okay. Back on my form, when I click on responses, and that's where that green icon is. If you look at this menu right here, there are a couple things that you can do. If you want to receive an email indicating everybody who is registering for your event, you can do this. You can click get email notifications. So if you click that, anytime somebody fills in your form and submits it, you're going to get a notice in your inbox that somebody completed the form. If you click
Yep.
here, hang on a sec. You can download all of the responses, all 67 responses, and it puts into what's known as a CSV file, which is kind of like a zip file. Okay, and you can open and look at them. You can print all of the responses that are here, or you can delete all of the responses. I delete all the responses when I have saved all of the information that I want to save. Then I delete all the responses and I use the same form again. Okay, so I see some hands, so let's go ahead and address a couple questions for maybe items 19, 20, and 21. Okay, hands up, Mark, and then I think there are others.
Okay, so if I'm asking, because I'm gonna use this in the next week, if
Okay.
I'm asking for, tell me your day and your hour of the day you're available for a Zoom meeting, how do I find where if I'm saying 50 people, how do I find that all 50 have picked the same day?
Okay.
And the same hour?
Okay. Let me see. I wish I had a sample of something like that. So let's say you could do something like this. Okay. You sort the column. You sort the column. And this is actually getting to item number 22. So if I wanted to sort this column based on times, okay, based on times, or in this case, I want to find out I want all of the Hemet applicants together and then all the Menifee applicants together, you know what I mean? I can sort it by clicking on the letter. You click on the letter of the column that you want to sort. Click on the letter. Now there's two ways to do it. On my computer, I can right click on my mouse and I can go down here to sort the sheet. Don't sort, sort the whole sheet, A to Z. I'm going to alphabetize it. A to Z could mean number wise, 1 to whatever, okay? Now, if I look at this school district column, I've got, it's all alphabetical.
Alphabetized, yeah.
All the Hemet ones are there. So if it were a number like a time, whoever signed up from 11 to 1, and people who signed up for 1 to 3, Google would decide how that's going to sort. So you would go
Right.
A to Z, okay? But you click on the letter of the column. Does that make sense?
Sort of. Maybe when I get to that point, I'll call you.
Okay, so for instance, here's a column with numbers, phone numbers. If
Right.
I wanted to click on that, say those were times, okay? I'm going to click on it. Here's another way to sort it. If you don't want to right click, I can go up to data. Data, sort sheet. Go over to the right, A to Z or Z to A, either way. Now, all of the numbers are listed with the smallest number first and the biggest number last.
Okay.
So you can sort it. If I wanted to change that, I've got to highlight the letter, make sure my column's blue. Data, sort sheet. I'm going to reverse it now. Okay. The highest number here is at the top. The lowest number is at the bottom.
So if I was sorting by, my question was day by day, and within that on Tuesday, a lot of different possible hours. How would I find
Well, you would have a column.
Tuesday?
You would have a
Where-
column for days.
Yeah.
Days would have to be its own column.
So that'd be a column, and then all the things coming down would be the hours. And if I had 50 people, I guess it would tell me at 50 people checked on 1 o'clock or 20 people checked on 2 o'clock kind of
I
thing.
would start by days first.
Okay, yeah,
I would start by days first and then look at the hours that they've all listed.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's sorting sheets. So I kind of, so that's 22 and 23. Let me hit the last. Let me just show you a couple other things. So notice how big this sheet is. And this kind of is reminiscent of the sheets that Johanna sends out to you with all of the division, a zillion different columns. Well, you don't need to keep all those columns open. Say all I want is the first name, the last name, and their home email. I can go up to the top of the column where the letter is, and notice there's now a little arrow. See the little arrow? And click on that. And I can go down to hide column. And now it's disappeared. I don't need the name of the school. I'm going to click on that. Hide column. I'm going to click on this one and hide column. I can do that as much as I want.
Can I
also-
select multiples, multiple columns and do all at once?
let me see. I would imagine you probably, yeah, I'm just holding down my control key
Mhm.
and clicking as many. Let's see what happens. Hide columns. Yep. There we go. Nice suggestion. All right. Notice how short my form is now. How wonderful. You can do that with Johanna's form. There's a bunch of columns there you don't really need to see. You want to condense it down to what you can see. Now, if I want to restore my columns, see the little black arrow? The black arrows right there, you might not be able to see them real well. Right here, black arrows. Click the black arrow. Wow, it's all restored. Okay,
And the way you know that they're hidden is that the alphabet is in order or you've lost a letter.
exactly,
Okay,
exactly. Okay. I think that's it. You can slide, by the way, you can slide these columns and make them wider. Just slide up at the top here, up by where the letters are. Okay, you can slide them, make them narrow, make them wide. You can slide over here where the numbers are. You can slide those up and down, make them skinny, make them fat. Okay, I'm not going to get into a lot of this. This is a whole other training. So,
Yeah.
how to do Excel
Okay,
sheets.
so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, any questions on all of that? That was a lot.
Garrett,
Yeah, Garrett?
Can the people you have edit with you or so, can they get the information when it comes in?
Yep, they do it the same way. They click on responses and then click on the green sheet.
collaborate.
If they say they can't see it, you can always share it with them by clicking this share button. You can share, and then you can find them. You can add their email up here just like before. So if I wanted to share with Marilyn, I could just find her name there and share it with her, click on her and click done. So you can share it that way as well.
Okay, thank you.
But if they are a collaborator, they have all the access that you have. Okay. Any other questions?
Mary,
Yes, I came in late, so, and I don't expect you to go back to explain what I missed, but is there a recording so I could catch up on the beginning of this session?
Yes.
So I
This
know
is
how to start.
this is being recorded. So yeah, it will be posted on the CalRTA YouTube channel.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Lola had one, but then she lowered her hand, so it might have gotten answered.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a little over an hour and 15 minutes. You guys are tough. You hung in there to the very end. That's good. There's a lot there. And My goal was to not go too fast, so I hope it didn't go too fast. But know that I do have the recording. That will get processed and that will be uploaded. And actually, if you like, I can send you, so you don't have to wait for that. I will process this on my own YouTube channel and I can just send you the link to it so you can have this. Okay, I'll send you the link, then you don't have to go search for it on the CalRTA website if you don't want to. But you're welcome to unmute yourself. Do you have any other questions that I can address on this? I know it's a lot to take in. And we've gone an hour and 15 minutes. That's a long time. Lola, question?
I do not have a question because it's too much information. But what it's all over my head. I don't know nothing. But here's the deal. I've gotten so many ideas along the way to try this, try that, try this, try that, until there's a lot of things bouncing in my one head. Therefore, I think I'm going to try to do these things, like I told you before, one step at a time. I'm going to try my first list of things because I do want to try to play with the documents. So I'll start with the division, and then the next time I'll start with the area. And then as I find that I have problems, then I can call you or Marilyn. But I think I need to get started and try something first before I boggle you down with questions that don't make sense.
Okay, so let me toss out this idea to you all. If you have not created a Google form before, but you want to play around with it and try it, send one to me and as a test. You know, you can label it test Google form. Send it to Marilyn. Our emails are in the chat, so you can open it up in the chat. Send it to me and I'll let you know if it's working right. You know, and if we need to do a one-on-one Zoom, I can do that, but send it to me. I can be your guinea pig. You can test it out on me. And just so you know, you're not going to break Google. You're not going to break it. People mess up all the time when they do this stuff. I did too. I didn't know how to do this. So test it out. Use me as a guinea pig. Use Marilyn as a guinea pig. Send one to us. We'll fill it out. I'll fill it out and send it back to you. You can go in and look at what it looks like. Okay. But try it out and don't be afraid to try and use us to help you through that. Okay. That's why we're here, to help you learn. So if there's nothing else, I just want to thank you guys for being a great audience and for hanging in there. I will, if there are any resources that you need, make sure you let me know, but I'll send you, as soon as this video is processed, I'll send you the link in case you need to use it as a review, okay? Or to go back through it again and check it out with your notes, okay? Otherwise, thank you for attending. I really appreciate it. Won't have any trainings for a little while. We've got convention coming up and a lot of stuff going on. But down the road, and if I will be sending you a request for a feedback form, okay? So I'm going to ask for your feedback. If you already filled one out before, you don't have to fill that out again. But I will ask for that because I do use that information to improve on these trainings. So thank you guys for being a great audience.
Thank you, Sue.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for being a great leader.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
Convention, yay.
Yay.
Have a good one. Well, Marilyn? Oh, she left.